We are here with Jonathan Shubs. This will be episode 10. It'll be a short episode. We're here to discuss the UAT module 2. It's specifically in and around the 5 element theory using 4 needles, 5 elements. Jonathan, why do you use it? What's the importance for acupuncturists? Can you give a brief overview of how you deliver it?
Okay, so this is my main technique for treating internal problems, right? The foundations course was more musculoskeletal work and understanding channel interactions. So we take that information of channel interactions and we apply it to the 5 elements. So the main focus of it is working on emotional stuff, internal, functional treatments. The key to the 5 elements and the way that I approach it is all about movement. The idea is about moving the internal world and allowing the body to go back into its proper state. The 4 needles technique was taken from Sa'am, who was a monk in the 16th century in Korea, who came up with the underlying theory that we apply to finding only 4 needles. And with these 4 needles, we can either tonify or disperse any of the 12 zongfu or any of the 12 main channels. So we're going to look at 24 patterns and how we use them for both internal problems, emotional problems, etc.
I've seen you in action using it. The results are very fast.
Yeah, so what we do, we combine it with abdominal palpation. So the abdominal palpation at the beginning gives us a picture of what channel or what systems we can either tonify or disperse. When we put in the 4 needles, we can come back and we can verify based on the change in palpation immediately how effective the treatment was.
Awesome. And for you, does that allow you to, from seeing the demonstration you've done in previous trainings, the effect was immediate. You could see the person immediately calming down in this instance, this one particular instance. And the fact that you were able to determine through palpation also the true underlying emotional pattern.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of how does it differ from TCM, and how would it differ or be similar to TCM and maybe even the classical systems of, a lot of people are now into tongue and into tan. So how does it differ?
Okay. So it's using 5 elements. So this is really the basis of this classical Chinese medicine. This is what's written in the Nanjing on how all of the information here comes from the Nanjing. What's different about it is instead of going through the logical steps that we have to do in pattern diagnosis or differential diagnosis, what we're doing is we're trusting the patient's body. So we're following the patient's body, and then we can go back and try to understand what happened. But our main focus is sort of taking the practitioner out of the picture and really interacting with the patient's body, as opposed to saying, okay, this person I think has liver qi stagnation, so I'm going to do this, this, and this. As opposed to here, I have a specific guideline. If this and this and this are all sensitive in the patient, I'm going to do this. And then I come back and I check it. So in a way, it's sort of removing the intellectual aspect and allowing us to really get in touch with the patient's body in a way that it's not really, there are some systems that do it, but not to this extent. And this simplified. It's something that anybody can apply.
Yes.
In relationship to the Dr. Tan stuff, there is a connection to his more advanced Bagua methods. And in fact, that's the 3rd module that we teach, and we balance them out between each other. But the basic master, Dr. Tan of musculoskeletal pain, that doesn't really treat these underlying emotional problems or functional problems. And we do include the Dr. Tan, the master tongue stuff in the 5 element stuff. Those are going to be some extra ideas, etc. and they work very well together. Because remember, Master Tongue was a master of understanding 5-element interactions.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So you've already been here to Ireland. You've delivered module 1,
Mhm.
module 2. There's no prerequisite for module 2 other than a basic understanding of 5 elements at least.
Yes.
And I know that you'll be back then for module 3 shortly afterwards. And then we'll go again back into the foundations and see who wants to do that later on in the year. So I'm inviting, I mean, a lot of the people that are on module 1 are chomping at the bit for module 2. So we'll get them back in. And I'm going to invite anyone that's watching this podcast or listening in to reach out, have a look at the booking below. So there'll be a link. It's plainsailing.com. Go in there to the Jade and book your spot. We're going to run it in Mullingar. If the numbers go a little bit above normal, then we'll have a slightly bigger venue, which we'll announce, but it'll be in the same locale. So we won't move it too far away from where we are. Definitely, this is the one that's exciting me. Feel excited for this one. I think this, I know you've studied loads of systems, so everything's exciting, but for some of us, it's, wow, let's get in there and, something fresh. It makes you feel good about your practice. It gives you something new to focus on. It makes the working week feel have a bit more variety. I know I'm excited to learn this. So is there anything else you want to say before we jump off on this quick one? Is there anything you want to a message you want to impart to people in Ireland?
Oh, no, I just really hope they come to do it. And if they also go to my YouTube channel, there's lots of demonstrations of it. So they can go and look. And it's not just the one time I did it with you. On the Unified Acupuncture Theory channel on YouTube, you're going to see a bunch of different demonstrations showing different patterns. So you can actually get an idea of what you're going to be doing. Other than that, I just really hope that you guys will come out and do the course, because I know how effective it is, how simple it is to apply, and how much fun we actually have as we're learning and doing it.
Yeah, I've even had bodywork therapists reach out to me, do 5 elements, do 5-element style shiatsu, or they do 5-element style tui-na or some kind of bodywork, and they're looking forward to just seeing, even if they're not needling, how they can use the points from a physical perspective. And I know you talked to me before about cupping and different methods within that, but I think the key thing is that clear diagnosis, abdominal palpation, creating your strategy, getting the results, and then working, physically working with the patient. You're not second guessing it. You're not overthinking it. You're allowing their body to speak to you from a 5-element perspective. Am I correct?
That's exactly it. It's in some ways, of course, as practitioners, we have to go through the 10 questions and our interrogations and all that. But you'll see in the demonstrations, we can just palpate and needle. And then if we go back, we're always, from our interrogation, we're going to get the same information. So in some ways, it even takes a lot of the thinking out of it, and you can actually just have fun and enjoy and know you're getting, and you also get this instant feedback directly from repalpating the abdomen. That's very difficult with other systems.
Yeah. Thanks very much for joining me.
My
Please,
pleasure.
I'm asking people, get on board if you want this. It's there. Jonathan goes to Poland, Switzerland, Germany, Australia, now Ireland. Like, get him while you can get him, because in the next few years he'll be so busy we won't be able to get him. So, all right, thanks, Jonathan, and we'll see you in Ireland in about 3 or 4 weeks.
Yes, excellent.